Micah and Hidehiro, can you two please stand up? Anna Miller, can you stand up? And lastly, Kendra, can you please stand up? Everyone look at these students. According to the CDC, 11% of high school boys suffer from ADHD, as represented by Micah and Hidehiro. Also, according to the CDC, 6% of high school girls suffer, which is represented by Anna. And lastly, Kendra represents 5% of the entire population that suffers from ADD, according to the Attention Deficit Disorder Association. It's shocking to see just how many people are affected by these disorders, and it becomes clear that something needs to be done. New research being produced by universities is showing that music as a therapy for learning disorders is actually quite effective. Not only have my past 4 weeks of research helped me gain credibility, I am also the only grandson of 18 grandchildren to not be diagnosed with ADD or ADHD. So I grew up every summer around a lot of people with ADD/ADHD. To better understand this phenomena, we must first discuss the growing problem of learning disorders, specifically ADD and ADHD. Then we can discuss music as an academic tool and the utilization of music as therapy for students with these learning disorders. These are widespread issues. Some stats, as produced by the Attention Deficit Disorder Association, state that 11 million people, adults, suffer from ADHD. In children, up to 11% are affected, as predicted by the Centers for Disease Control. So you can see that it's not uncommon by any means. Because these disorders are livable, they often go untreated or unprioritized. So what is the difference between ADD and ADHD? They're pretty closely related. The main difference would be a case-by-case presence of hyperactivity within the patient. They are presented in 3 presentations: predominantly inattentive presentation, which would be called attention deficit disorder, or what we call ADD, predominantly hyperactive/impulsive disorder, which would be ADHD, or combined disorder, which would also be ADHD. It's a highly genetic syndrome that has to deal with the regulation of brain functions called executive functioning skills, which deal with things like attention, organization, concentration, things of that sort. It can be a chemical imbalance or a structural abnormality with the brain. My cousin Tyler Coffey grew up in Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio. At age 8, he was diagnosed with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. When I asked Tyler about his experiences, he said that sitting in class was the worst part. I was smart enough to understand what was being taught, but my brain had such a hard time staying on track. Sometimes I would play guitar on my leg, so part of my brain was distracted while the other could focus on class. Leo Tolstoy said that music is the shorthand of emotion. Think about how music makes you feel. It can make you happy, it can make you sad. We use it to get ourselves pumped up for sporting events or for tests. We use it to focus. And it's this phenomena that, in an article published by Johns Hopkins School of Education by Chris Brewer, he claims that music, this effect that it has over our emotions, is what makes it such an effective tool in the classroom. It can establish a positive learning environment, increase focus, change brainwave states, release tension, and improve memory, and more. If we extrapolate this to learning disorders, as done by Florida International University study, they looked at the idea of using this for students with ADD, ADHD, and other learning disorders. With music, this is a quote from William Pelham Jr., the director of Center for Children and Families. With music, it didn't really affect the children. Listening to music helped the kids with ADHD to complete their work. The effect of music was nearly as effective as medication. This is a huge statement to say that prescription medication is almost as effective or comparable to just playing music for students who are working on schoolwork. Clearly, this is an issue that isn't going to resolve itself, and as predicted by the Centers for Disease Control, it's actually rising. Music as an alternative therapy gives hope to this situation. It's easy, and it actually helps all students, even those without learning disorders. School's hard enough as it is for students, and some have even more working against them in the form of ADD and ADHD. Music as therapy can help level the playing ground for those afflicted by these disorders. Thank you.